Okay, it's better than the alternative. Florida State closes out its home slate in 2025 with a win, and we're here to talk about it right now on the Warchant Game Day Postgame Call-In show built by TSpark Enterprises. He is Gene Williams, founder, administrator of Warchant.com. My name is Tom Lang. So happy to be here tonight on a night that Florida State is going to turn in its fifth home win of 2025.
Wow.
All right, 5 home wins for the Noles this season. It's 34-14 as we sign on with just under 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, but it has been a rocking chair second half for Florida State. It was not a first half that I don't think people will remark on in the history books as memorable by any stretch of the imagination, but Florida State took over the game in the second half in a similar way that they did, and they put the game out of reach against Wake Forest just a couple weeks ago. Gene, good evening to you, sir, on a victory.
Evening, Tom.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Anytime Florida State gets a win, and we're hoping here. What I'm looking at is a little under 2 minutes left. That we're hoping that it'll even get to cover, which is nice that they do that. So always good to see an FSU win it. And I said at the beginning, Tom, pre-show when we got on, I saw a couple things I don't think I've seen pretty much all season. 2 long kick returns.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice job, Jalen Lucas. And there was 1 fumble on the ground, and FSU actually recovered it. I mean, it's astonishing what happens when you do those kind of things, how much that helps you win the game.
It's funny how things like that work, and good for Florida State because that's back-to-back home games with fumble recoveries, Gene, I'll have you know. So there it is. Maybe they're starting a tradition of taking the ball away a little bit here. First half of this football game, really ugly. It was 2 bad teams going at it and making mistakes, leaving you frustrated if you're Florida State in the red zone, not coming away with touchdowns, missing a short kick. There were penalties, mostly on Virginia Tech in the first half. Everybody was sliding, falling down. The turf looks like it's just coming apart if you put a little bit of weight on the outside of your foot or your ankle. But then as the second half began, it got a little bit better for Florida State. And I got to tell you, Gene, there was one sequence and one sequence only that got me up off my couch. And it was a 3rd and passing situation for Virginia Tech. Tony White loads up the line of scrimmage.
Oh, yes. 7 guys. I counted. I went back and counted. Did he blitz 7 guys?
He did. It's a 0 blitz. There were 4 guys out in coverage. It was a 0 blitz. They get home. They say, all right, you're a running offense. We're going to be tougher than you. Then a couple plays later, Usman Kroma to the left sideline. I think he got hit late. They didn't call it. And then Tommy Castellanos finds his explosiveness in his legs again. Where that has been, I do not know, but he showed it in the second half tonight, Gene, for the first time since maybe fits and starts against Virginia, but definitely against Alabama. So it was in that stretch of time that it was entertaining football. It's always good when you get a win. Don't get me wrong. You never give those back. But for that little stretch of the third quarter, it got pretty fun. And then from that point forward, Florida State has just been multiple scores ahead as they are winding the clock down here towards the end of the night, in which Florida State is going to improve to 5-5 on the season. Yeah,
once Florida State got up, the Virginia Tech team is obviously not built to sit back and throw the ball and try to come back. So FSU really had him at that point. But you're right, Tommy had a couple runs. There was a first down run when he turned it on a little bit and picked it up. And then that touchdown run just left the guy standing still in the middle. He had no chance to tackle him. And that was the quickness. And, they don't give us details on, injuries. But, Tom, how long does it typically take for a high ankle sprain to heal? To me, that's what it was. It's been about the right amount of time for it to heal, and he looks back pretty close to 100% at this point. What a difference that makes for Tommy Castellanos. And, early on, you're right, some struggles, missed a wide-open receiver down the field early on that could have gone for a long gain or even a touchdown there. And really, I think the guy that saved him here when it was still in the balance was Deuce, man. Deuce is just unbelievable. It's a shame he didn't get that one touchdown, but I think that probably was the right call that they reversed the non-touchdown for him. But I mean, what a stellar! This is 3 straight games of 100 yards. That little slant route he hit, the fingertip catch. I mean, that is legit, Tom. This young man's gonna make himself some money at the next level because it's amazing what Deuce has done this year.
Yeah, he's on the brink of 1,000 yards for the season now. You're right. That was an RPO glance, outstretched fingertips. It balances out what was a tough sequence for Deuce, and I'm not going to harp on this for a long period of time, but you have the drop on the left side of the end zone, you have the bobble on the right side of the end zone, and if you watch actually the play before those 2 bobbles, he turns the safety loose, which is a big no-no in terms of blocking for the running back. And so that was a 3-play sequence, not so great. But by the end of the night, everybody's
made up for it.
Yeah, that he made up for it, and he played a wonderful game, and he came back into the game after being injured in the second half. The final tally for Deuce Robinson tonight, 6 catches for 134 yards and a touchdown. The final tally on the scoreboard, it is now a final. It is 34-14. Florida State gets the win again. That is the 5th home win of 2025. If you told me, Gene, before the season started that Florida State was going to win 5 home games and beat Alabama in one of those 5, I'd say, well, Mike Norvell is definitely sticking around this offseason. All right, mission accomplished. It is not quite that.
Well, they haven't won a road game in a year. That's kind of an issue.
We're going on 2 years here. So they get 2 opportunities
2 years, yeah.
to win a road game. Coming up, a short week, they play NC State on Friday. But with that score going final at 34-14, let's review the Drinkometer, shall we, and see what Gene's drinking on tonight. And it looks like that is a cover, everybody.
They have covered. Wow. Okay, so I've got to pull out a craft beer. Let's see what we got today. And I had you never know the backdoor cover, so I had to be prepared with the light beer. But no, we're going to go with what we got here. We're going to go a little local brewery. Don't advertise with us, but we like to support the locals. This is Ology. A lot of people know about them. This is called Blended Auras, and it is a Czechoslovakian amber lager.
Really?
Yes, we're going to go with that one tonight.
Man,
we got the bar here. We got the big one going.
One of the most famous Czechs in sports is Jaromír Jágr.
Oh, there you go.
You could have called it a Jaromír Lager, but that's what we're going to call it tonight from Ology.
You and Jeff did when Ology first opened way back. We did one of the Man Cave shows out there at the Ology in Midtown. That was a lot of fun.
We did. That was a great time for the Man Cave show. I believe we had the chicken hat back in those days.
Oh,
yeah. Remember that? Somebody had to wear the chicken hat. We see you filing in right now. Welcome one, welcome all. It's a victory
Cheers.
Saturday night for the Noles. Cheers to everybody. Florida goes down to Ole Miss today. They made Lane sweat it, and there's subtext to that game, but it's a good 7 o'clock window if you're a Florida State fan. Most importantly, Florida State comes away with the win. 5-5 on the season, going to have 2 cracks at bowl eligibility. Is that something that we want to brag about? No, but you got to take it because those bowl practices would be extremely important if Florida State could beat either NC State or Florida. Problem is those games are on the road, and we'll cover that in due time. We'll see you on Friday night. As for tonight, Florida State had 431 yards of offense. They had 237 on the ground. A lot of different running backs. It felt like everybody, it's Oprah Winfrey in the first half. You get a touch, and you get a touch, and you get a touch. You know, Gene, they had talked about during pressers this week, did Florida State, that they were going to feature some guys more and single out some guys. It ended up that way with Croma and Singleton having 25 carries split between the two of them. But my God, I think the first 15 runs, there might have been 7 dudes that were rushing the football.
Well, didn't they have, I may be wrong, but I thought there were 4 different ball carriers on that first drive.
I think that's
and then
right.
finally
Yes.
we saw, then I think the next series or 2, we saw Roydell Williams come and say 5 different, in the first couple drives, 5 different running backs. I guess their theory was, let's throw them all out there, see who's hot, see who's running well. And then apparently that was Singleton and Sawchuk. Oh, yep. Croma. I'm sorry. Yeah, Croma were the 2 guys that really got the bulk of the carries there. And I'm glad. I don't know. I think you and I are the same time. We like them to stick 1 or 2 guys and not play this roulette at running back all the time. But if they're going to do that, get it down to 2 guys, I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they did keep their word. They said that Oos would be a bigger part of this week's game, and they were correct about that. 11 carries, 59 yards for Croma, including a nice one there in garbage time. to make a few guys miss for an 18-yard gain. He's just so damn hard to bring down to the ground. And that's where that late hit along the sideline, even if it is late, I can kind of understand the play's never over with 32. So you do need to make a point to go hit him. In terms of the pass stats, Tommy was 12 of 24 on this night for 189 yards and a touchdown. But I got to tell you, if you're looking for Florida State to win one of the 2 games left on the schedule that are both on the road, I think the path to doing that is what we saw in the second half, which is Tommy Castellanos' legs came to life. The explosiveness was there again. That could potentially be a game changer as Florida State looks to finish the season at least at 500, if not over 500. Gene, to me, in a game that had a ton of forgettable moments, that is the thing that's going to last as we start preparing for a short week game on a Friday night at NC State.
Yeah, a mobile, fully healthy Tommy Castellanos has got to scare a lot of defensive coordinators because that's just he's very unique in what he can do. There's very few quarterbacks who can be as fast and elusive as he is. And the thing that complements that is you got a legitimate big-time receiver. So, I mean, it definitely was not the A broadcast team, but they did make a good point about what happens a lot with the safeties having to worry in the box about when you're running this much as Florida State does. And it often leaves a guy like Deuce one-on-one. And when they have that guy, the guy they called IBM, I think was about, I don't know the whole name, but they call him IBM. It's a pretty cool nickname. But I mean, he was probably about 5'8", 5'9". You saw when he stood next to Deuce, what a mismatch that was. So it had to make Tommy's eyes light up when he saw those one-on-one matchups against that guy. So, I mean, that is going to be, it's a good recipe for the offense. I think the offense can be good enough to win the next 2 games. And I don't want to harp on the negative here, but, I know they only gave up 14 points on the scoreboard to not a pretty bad offensive team, but man, that running defense was just gash for most of the game. That was a little bit scary. Virginia Tech put up 237 yards on the ground, and that's not going to get it done against a lot of teams.
No, I agree. I think it was streaky for Virginia Tech. Like they would hit them in bunches, and not always just explosives, but I mean some drives it was just like a warm knife through butter. One of which was when Florida State goes up 24-7. That answer from Virginia Tech is just right down the field. And in fact, the way the game started, I thought, this could be a long night. Because they hit a pretty good explosive run to the left, Gene, on their first drive of the night. But then the next play is the interception from Drones when he takes the shot deep. His receiver falls down, and Jerry Wilson comes away with the football. And I think that settled things where, again, watching Florida State, I'm not trying to say they're front runners, but I'm saying it's a lot better if they can get out to the lead first. It makes a big difference for this team from a confidence standpoint, and they were able to play from ahead for the most part, if not the entire way. And I think that's going to be a huge thing for them as they go on the road. And I see in the chat, a lot of you, Christopher says, Tommy missed so many throws. And Tony, when does his arm come back from the dead? Hey, man, this is who Tommy Castellanos is as a passer. I mean, he missed LaWayne McCoy for a touchdown. He missed Randy Pittman for a touchdown. A couple of those throws to Deuce could be a lot easier, but they weren't. But that's who he's going to be. The thing that we've been missing for the better part of the last 2 months were his legs. And if they come back to life, suddenly those receivers get a little bit more open. But here we are again on a season. It's a weird night. I'll say it. It's a senior night, which is congratulations to all the seniors across the board for Florida State. But Gene, this is a strange post-game show to do. Happy about the win. Thrilled it was convincing for Florida State. But I don't know how much we learned tonight about this group. A lot of the same things happened again. It just so happened that Florida State was the better of 2 below-average teams, and you hope that it builds momentum for the roadie coming up on Friday.
Yeah, this is pretty much, I think, what we expected from this team. In this game, obviously Virginia Tech was overmatched in a lot of ways, especially defensively against this team. Defense was not great. I mean, this is a very one-dimensional Virginia Tech team, and they can run a little bit, and they ran very well against Florida State, obviously. But so they did what they're supposed to do. But like we said, the next couple of games are really going to tell the tape, I think, of how this season goes, and obviously this coaching staff too. I still think they're hanging on by a thread, even though they won by 20 tonight. This season is not Mike Norvell is not safe, not by a long shot yet, of getting through 2025 unscathed. So we're really going to see what happens the next 2 weeks. But I think what it probably does. I think had they lost this game, especially if it was an ugly loss, Tom, I think we're having a totally different show right now. We're talking about who's FSU's next head coach. I don't think he survives the next 24 hours if that's the case. But I mean, for now, he has a stay of execution. But again, the bugaboo is these road games. He's got 2 coming up. But no, I think it's a very positive thing to me that is positive about this more than anything else is Tommy looks healthy again. And we saw early in the season when he's healthy, this can be a dangerous team.
They can be. And we'll have that discussion because I got some thoughts on that too in terms of the big picture stuff with Mike. But obviously we're going to talk about the win first and take your calls. But before we do any of that, not even a word from our sponsor just yet. This is a vertical video because we put it up on our YouTube channel, but Ethan Pritchard returned to Florida State this week.
Awesome.
He was discharged from the hospital earlier in the week. He was at practice in the latter part leading up to this game tonight, and then he was also a part of the legacy walk, as I believe it was his father, again, carrying the hammer that breaks the rock into the stadium. So bear with us for the vertical video, but I'm going to play this right now for everybody to just enjoy what is a great and triumphant moment for Florida State. It's a very cool moment for the Pritchard family, and our hearts go out to the Pritchard family, and we hope for a speedy recovery, continued recovery for Ethan. It's so amazing he's gotten to this point, but very, very cool. And I saw in the chat a lot of you have said this one's for Ethan, and I'm sure that's going to be the sentiment in the locker room after. So really cool and powerful day for Florida State. Tonight's sponsor, as has been the case for the last little while here on the postgame show, is TSpark Enterprises, and they want you to know that they not only do commercial and residential roofing, but they help with home remodeling, additions, and businesses also that need updates or build-outs. So from the ground up or within the four walls, they got you covered. Check out their website for all the construction services they provide at TSpark Enterprises. That's tsparkconstruction.com. TSpark Enterprises, we conquer all peaks. tsparkconstruction.com. What do you? Speaking of .coms, Gene, let's weigh in from you. Would you want the contributions or the callers? Where do you want to go first?
Well, let's do a couple. I know people jumped in there early for the contributions and donations. We appreciate that. Let's get to the couple of those guys and recognize them.
Joshua, thank you so much for your contribution. He says, I will always take a win. Glad turnovers went our way this time. Tom, thoughts on Otto at left guard? Early thoughts are okay. I will tell you I didn't hone in and watch them play for play, but I will do that in the next 24 hours because I'm really curious to see. But I thought the offense moved pretty well. I think they favored the running right a little bit more, but I'll take a look more in depth. Obviously, through injury, Otto made his way onto the field. You had Richie Leonard have a problem. Micah Pettis left the game early, went to locker room, but came back, returned to play right tackle for Florida State. We'll get some thoughts, especially on the boards as well. Thank you, Joshua, very much for that contribution. Johnny Zinol Bringardner is back again. Good game, boys. Deuce is a beast. When was the last time we won the turnover battle and penalty battle? Are we sure these were ACC refs? Hope we can keep the Twins and Chroma. Yes, this is roster retention season, not only about coaching season. Those guys are playing really, really well. Thank you, Zenol. We see what you did there with the 34.14 on the contribution.
Well done.
And also, Ian says we should still be talking about the next coach. I was wondering if we were going to get to that, and that will be a part of the discussion tonight, Ian. But coming back to Deuce Robinson, Gene, I know he's your player of the game. He's everybody's player of the game. Fantastic night from number 0, who, again, I think he's closing in on 1,000 at this point for the season in terms of total receiving yards.
Just so impressive and so happy for the young man. Just as soon as he stepped foot on campus, you could just see how impressive he was and how he dealt with things and doing interviews and everything else. And he's just such a positive influence out there and such a, and what he's done for this team too. I mean, I just don't know what this offense would be. It'd be one-dimensional because we got excited about a lot of other guys. Like Squirrel White was even on the field tonight. It's amazing when these two guys came in, we really thought this was going to be the 1-2 punch, but it's been completely the Deuce Robinson show. But like you said, he didn't have a perfect game, Tom, but boy, he made enough big plays to make up for a few early miscues, and just really excited for the young man. Yeah,
Florida State's second leading receiver, it's a hard thing to believe here, is Jalen Lucas. 2 catches for 13 yards. Their second leading receiver, that was from catches. Their second leading receiver in terms of yardage was Sam Singleton for 16 yards.
On that screen play, which is a nice screen pass, by the way.
It was. That's a nice call. They actually called a couple of good screen passes tonight, a couple of missed throws and/or drops.
Yeah, Tommy.
Yeah, and Randy, it's got to be a better throw, but that Randy drop to hurt. Randy Pittman with a rushing touchdown tonight as well, as they brought back the Randy Cat the Wildcat with Randy Pittman inside the 5-yard line. He had one catch for 7 yards, did Florida State's tight end. And they got Willie Suarez out on the field for a late catch. I believe that was Brock Glenn who threw it to Willie Suarez.
It was.
One catch for 5 yards. All right, thank you for those of you that contributed. Here's another one from Tony Greco, great member of the channel and constant presence on the boards and in the chat. Just imagine this wide receiver core with a good passing quarterback. I'm telling you, Gene, a lot of these matchups this year, it's been a broken record. You can take advantage of their secondary. If we could actually bank on consistent passing, we probably are looking at 250 or 300 yards. It was the case for Virginia, Stanford, Pitt, to a degree, Miami, and certainly tonight against
Clemson, you had all the drops, so who knows on that one.
Yep. Yeah. Clemson too. Absolutely. Yeah. Tony, thank you for the contribution. Our first caller of the night, I believe this is Marlon in Miami. Our call screener is on a cruise. So
who cruises during football season? But no, we're happy for Terry. I know he's having a great time.
He said he's going to be on a liquid diet on that there cruise, and I hope he's having a great time. Marlon, is that you? Go ahead in 305. You are on the air.
Yeah, it's me, and I hope you bought the drink pass because you don't want to be paying for those.
Oh, he did. Yeah, Marlon, he's good. He got the.
Okay, good for him. Good for him. I hope he enjoys. It's always good, guys, to get a win. As class of 01 alum, it's always good for those seniors to go out with a win. But there was a lot of bad going on the defense. We've yet to be able to quarterback spy. That's all they had. That team, that's all they had. It was the quarterback, and we couldn't stop him. We couldn't stop him as far as he ran whenever he wanted to. We bucked up and we did something in the second half, but God, we cannot quarterback spy nobody on defense. Secondarily, as far as the coaching staff, I hope Mike the best, and I hope he does wins the next two, but he's done. He has to go, and I think we're gonna lose out on Franklin unless those his agent making noise with the McMurphy thing today. But I'll let you tell us more, Gene. I know you got some scoop on that. Thank you, guys, and it's always a good win, especially for those seniors.
There you go. Great.
Thanks, Marlon.
Thanks, Marlon. Yeah, so you saw even the Thamel report on ESPN today, Gene, and I read that first paragraph and my stomach turned. I wanted to vomit because I think Jimmy Sexton wrote that first paragraph for Pete Thamel, and then Pete just copied and pasted it from his iMessages and led with it at ESPN because they need clarity, does Virginia Tech, in the coming days about James Franklin and the negotiations they're conducting with him. They're trying to put Florida State and others on the clock if they're going to spend, if they're going to sign a deal with James Franklin. It is so transparent that Thamel's doing him a favor. I know McMurphy put out a tweet for On3 as well, but just reading a news article and that first graph, I wanted to puke, Gene, and I think that's exactly what's going on here. Would you agree? Are you reading those tea leaves the same way?
Yeah, but that's how these guys get their information. I always go, oh, these guys getting all this information. Well, they play games with the agents. They scratch their backs, they scratch the other, and Sexton gets rich as hell being a slime bag. So, I mean, that's just how it works. Yeah, absolutely. I do think, look, I can say I've heard enough that I do know James Franklin, at least his agent has floated out to enough different people that he has an interest in the Florida State job. If that job were to become open, I think it's fair to say that at this point. But he may have some interest in, he's probably floating that out to the other jobs that are potentially open. So I know a lot of people are focused on FSU. There's a lot of jobs out there. In the more interest Mr. Sexton can build up in these different teams, the more his price tag goes up. It's supply demand. There's not a whole lot of supply out there for a coach with his kind of experience for another program. So yeah, they're going to try to jack up that price as much as possible. I'd be a little surprised if he takes Virginia Tech, but is he going to wait? Is Virginia Tech just going to say no at this point? They possibly have a guy like that. They can say, you're not going to accept the job now. We're going to part ways. I don't know if they're going to do that, but no, it's obviously his agent playing games right now.
Yeah, it's here's the graph. It's a former Penn State coach, James Franklin of Virginia Tech, are in the early stages of talks with some resolution on his candidacy expected in the coming days. Sources told you, get the hell out of here. So you're on the clock. That's the message to everybody. Mm-hmm. Clearly, Virginia Tech is his fallback school. Didn't we all have those when we were going to college, like your fallback plan?
Oh, yeah.
That's what that graph says. Hey, if you want him, he's going to have to take the Virginia Tech job because they're telling us to do it or get off the pot at some point here But if you want him, you can have him because he doesn't really want to go to Virginia Tech. So give us a call and we can make a deal. ESPN's Pete Thamel reporting. Let's see.
Virginia Tech, you're drunk and it's that girl at 2 a.m. The bar's getting ready to close. You're like, well, I got to go that direction.
Gene went there, and that's why we go to Long Island, and we're talking for the 66th time in Warchant TV history to Josh in Long Island. Welcome to the program.
Tommy, and Gino. We are doing all right. I mean, I like the way the kids now. All right, so I like the way the kids play, and I'm just gonna say, just being through a couple of these senior days, they get a little wacky, a little crazy, especially in the beginning, because a lot of the guys have nerves that they've never felt before. They're coming out with their families, the last home game. So I give them a mulligan on that senior day. It usually happens like that. But I have a fantasy keeper league type question. If you were to keep 5 guys, assuming no one is going to the NFL and whatever it is, right? And I'm gonna give you these names, and you got to keep these 5. Out of Deuce is 1, Randy Pittman is 2, Chroma is 3, Sperry's 4, Tommy Castellanos is 5, Mandrell Desir is 6, and Earl Little is 7. You have to keep 5. Who would you guys keep? That's just the quick question of the night. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you all soon. Love y'all.
Appreciate
Peace.
you.
Thank you. I like the manner. This is a little different kind of question for you. Thanks, Josh. Can we count the Desirs as 1? They always say the Desir twins. So I'm saying that they're a 2-for-1 deal. So we can put them in there for 2 for 1. I don't want to just take Mandrell. Get Daryl. I want them both.
Yeah, I saw
somebody put that as 1.
Somebody put in the chat earlier that they should be called the Entity. The 2 of them. They should have a nickname of the Entity. Let's see. So basically, it's which 2 players are you throwing out? I think that's the nature of the question there. For me, it would be Tommy and Earl Little.
Yeah, Tommy. Great minds. I was thinking the same. I don't even think it's. I think I wanted to go the direction of Sperry just because. Look, maybe I just don't. I think Tommy is just too fragile from what I've seen. Can he get through a season being incredibly healthy? I just don't see it. So from that perspective, you would guarantee me Tommy be healthy the entire season, then yeah, I might put Tommy in that list. But you're right. I think I'm going with Sperry. I mean, Deuce would be the number 1, but Deuce is going to the NFL. So, I mean, that's the end of that.
Agreed. I think, if you could keep only a few, I think at most all Noles would agree you want the Desirs and Chroma. Those are the guys that you would want to have back next year. Even more than Sperry in that situation. It's just that Tommy hasn't shown any development whatsoever as a thrower. So if that's the case,
it's regressed. It's more sidearm, more off the back foot. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the injury or something. It messed up his throwing motion or something. But he does not throw like he did. He was never a great thrower, but I thought he threw more prototypical in the first few games of the season. It really regressed after that injury.
Well, he's a total pain in the butt for one game. Like, think about it that way. If it was the NFL and you're facing a scrambling backup quarterback because the starter is inactive, you're like, oh, God, he's going to have a great week for 1 week. Mm-hmm. He's not a 16-game starter, but in 1 week, they're going to throw him like crazy. That's to me who Tommy is in like a one-off setting. If he's healthy, you go, oh, God, please don't destroy us. But for a 12-game season, it's a totally different picture. It's a different question. Let's see. Nick in Tallahassee for the 13th time. Welcome to the program, and go ahead.
Hey, guys. I'm literally walking back to my car from Doak right now. I just wanted to sincerely thank Nole Nation. We, after a 2-10 season, packed that place. I would never trade the Alabama game for anything. Even as the losses piled up, I mean, that thing for homecoming, senior night, Noles everywhere. The chant was loud. It was incredible. I mean, our future is secure. I think that's the message I would like to put forth. Bright future. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the night. Go Noles.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Appreciate you stopping by as always, Hotel Indigo. I would assume he means the future is secure through change, but I don't know. I'm putting words in his mouth. But thank you, Nick. Maybe we could talk about that next Friday night in the post-game show. But we appreciate your call and always for your support. The crowd looked like it did a great job tonight. For those of you that are joining us later, I mean, if Spartan Noles is going to be there or Eric Angel, whoever it is, if you're in the stands, Wes, in the Villages, they look like the crowd was in good spirits tonight. I saw one of the low-angle camera shots just before kickoff. It looked like the student section was about 90% full at kickoff.
Yeah, it looked pretty packed.
Which is a good sign. They've done a really good job, this fan base has, the last 2 weeks, coming off of, as Nick was saying, 2-10, and then a really disappointing run of games, a 4-game losing streak. Good job. Very, very good job by the fans. I know Coach Henshaw was calling for that on our warchant.com piece for the fans to probably put their anger aside and be supportive. It presented that way on TV to me. Did it look that way to you, Gene?
Yeah, it really did. I think they made a comment during the broadcast about what a good crowd it was. And it's great because it was senior night. Obviously, it was recognizing the veterans in this game, which is fantastic. I love seeing all the coaches dressed up in the camouflage. Is really cool to see that. So it looked like a really fun night. And you had a Chamber of Commerce weather, absolutely beautiful, cool night. This is the thing that always drives me nuts, that they have the afternoon games in September. Let's have these games in the afternoon in November in Doak Campbell Stadium in these beautiful day like today. I would love to have that out there. But no, it looked like the crowd was fantastic. But that's a good point. Some of our callers who are coming from Doak, let us know what the stadium atmosphere and what the crowd was like tonight.
In fact, you know what? Let's do that right now.
Yeah.
Let's go to Spartan Noles 71, who's back on the mainland. We might need to call you Mainland 71 if you want to move back. They're never going to lose a home game again. He's Ralph, Spartan Noles 71, outside of Doak. Ralph, go ahead. Welcome to the program.
I am 3-0 this year. That is true.
Woo.
The crowd was great to be the circumstances that we found ourselves in, being this late into the season. They cheered for Mike, and that was great. Obviously, Ethan being there was just been amazing. So I've got nothing to offer. I don't want to take up too much time. This is my last game for the year, obviously in person. It was great. It's better than last year, folks. And that's the major takeaway, regardless of what happens the rest of this year. And I know all of you out there are losing your crap in the damn chat room. I really don't care. I don't care about you naysayers. This team is better than last year. First-year coaches, all new turnover. They're going to get better. So stick with them, God dang it. Aloha.
All right.
Aloha, Ralph. Thanks,
Appreciate
buddy.
it.
Safe travels.
Yeah, safe travels back. And he was rocking a pretty cool FSU hat today, too. It was like Greg Norman style FSU hat.
Oh.
He was up at Hotel Indigo. We now go to Wes in the Villages. Also, I'm sure, on his way back from a night in Doak. And Wes, welcome to the program. Go ahead.
Yo, Gene and Tom. Yeah, I was there for homecoming, and great crowd. Great crowd tonight for senior night. The student section was packed. They started taking their shirts off like they did for the Wake Forest game. Everybody was really engaged. There was no booing. Everybody was fired up, having a great time. If we could have just had all of our games at home this year, we might be having a different conversation about our record. It'd be nice for them to win a road game or two here to cap the season off. But all things considered, there's definite improvement. It's too bad that a few plays in some of these games didn't go our way, or it could have been a much better season. But all in all, and there's still 2 games left, but it has been a market improvement, and so I'm hopeful for the future of the program. I didn't like the crowd, though. I got to say, it was amazing. And the only thing I don't know, and I'll have to watch the game back, maybe you guys could comment on it, but there were some calls, and I know it's ACC refs, but there were some of the calls where you're like, really? We're at home? And I'm just over the nonsense from these ACC refs, and I don't know if it's because of us or what, but, you're at home. You'd like to think you might get be on the right end of some of these calls, and I'm thankful that it didn't really impact, the game as a whole, but it's just aggravating that it just seems like it never ends. So I know you guys might want to speak to that, what you saw, But all in all, it was a great win. There was a lot of good things that happened. One takeaway I had, I don't think there was a single punt in the game, which I was glad about. And Lucas on those kickoffs, I would say, no, 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 no. Yeah. And then I was saying, yes, yes, yes. So it was nice to see that. And so Tommy looking good. So there were some little issues here and there, but as a whole, it was a wonderful game. It's been a solid, improvement, and I hope that things continue to build. I also, before I go, I got to meet Ethan's aunt and uncle came by our tailgate and got to get a picture with them and talk to them. And so I was hopeful with Ethan being back that would really inspire the team to play well. I feel like they did. They delivered and delivered that for him. So, it was a great night. Dope was rocking. And again, it's been a solid home slate at the very least. Yep. And before I go, just want to say you guys love seeing you guys when I can. I'm on my way back to the Villages. Met a bunch of people in the crowd, told them who I was. I got to get on the call with my boys, Gene and Tom, and rocked Warchant while I was there. Promoted it like always. Everybody in the chat, y'all have a good night. Everybody, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to warchant.com, the best in the business. Let's keep it going. 2 more games, 2 more wins. Y'all have a good night. I'll listen on my way back to the Villages. Y'all be good, and go Noles.
Thank you, Wes. We appreciate the call.
Thank you, Wes.
I guess the frustration must have been with non-calls.
I'm looking at the stat line. I looked it up while Ralph was talking, Tom. 1 penalty for 5 yards officially against Florida State. I don't know if I've ever seen that in an ACC game. It compared to, it's not like they weren't calling penalties. Virginia Tech called 8 times for 59 yards. Now, I did see a couple holds that look like, but that happens all the time, that look like could have been called against Virginia Tech that weren't on some of those running plays. But I mean, I will take this every ACC game for the next, hopefully only the next year or two when we're still in this conference, because I've seen it a lot worse than what I saw tonight.
Yeah, I think honestly, there was one call I was surprised, Gene, that they made, and it was the field goal attempt from a 4th and 5 at the 9-yard line. They jumped off, did Virginia Tech, but did they get back? It looked like they might have gotten back. It didn't matter. The refs called it half the distance, and Florida State ends up going for it in that situation. I was all right with the whistle tonight. I was generally speaking okay with it, but glad to hear that if you were in person, and I just got a text to this effect as well, if you were in person, the crowd presented as well as it did on television. That's good. That's good. Great. It's a good way to end the season. It's always bittersweet, that last home game of the season, because it's just it goes from August to November and Thanksgiving time before you know it, and here we are yet again.
So fast.
Florida State wins 5 of 7 home games this season. So good job on the home front for Florida State. Now we go to Boise, Idaho. One of our guys for the 6th time on Warchant TV. It's John in Boise. Welcome to the program, good sir.
What's up, gentlemen? What's going on? I'm
hey,
sitting out here by my fireplace and just thanking God for another win. And it makes my heart feel great when we see those swamp monkeys get beat. I love it. That just makes my weekend. But, when you say you have your backup school, like when I was playing baseball in high school there, I went to Florida State, played for Coach Martin. But my backup school was Cal State Fullerton, and all because of the baseball coach. And the Gators came calling, and I would not even offer to talk to the coach. I said, no way in hell am I going to Gainesville. But tonight's game, I like the fact that Blake Nicholson was focused, recovered a fumble. He played okay, but like I say, we're getting killed right up in the middle. But also, by the way, guys, that Lucky Go Coffee Company, I'm in the process of having a franchise out here.
Whoa.
So,
that's awesome. Lucky Goat in Boise.
Yeah, and the roasted nutcracker. Have you had that, Gene?
I don't think I've had the roasted. No, I have not.
No,
that sounds good.
That's good. It's I like the roasted nutcracker. It's not too bad, but like I say, now if the Bucks win tomorrow, that makes my weekend. So I'll talk to you guys next weekend.
There you go.
And take care, guys.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Coach Norvell finally got a home win, and it's great. So get off his ass. Is all I can say.
We appreciate it, John.
Thank you, John. And a Bucks fan in Boise. How about that? Probably not a whole lot of them out there. That's something.
During the post-game show after a win, sure, get off his ass. But generally, no, this doesn't move me in any way in terms of the future of Florida State as a football program. Let's go get a win in Buffalo tomorrow. Absolutely.
It means we have our Sunday off, Tom, because I don't think they're going to fire Norvell after tonight. And it doesn't, and look, I'm not saying he will. I still think he's not going to be the coach in 2026, but I'll say that right now. I think he's safe for at least the next week.
Well, if that's the way they want to go with tomorrow, given that again the Bucks aren't on locally and I need to go to a bar, then that would be very, very nice of them. Angela,
I'll see you at the CP.
Yeah, yes. Runner Angela says this is my son's last home game. See you in Gainesville. Never missed since 1989.
Wow, good
what
job,
a
Angela.
streak!
That's
and another
awesome.
season that is 36 years in a row in the books. Way to go, Angela! Thank you for always being extremely positive and honest when it gets bad enough to say that there's no way to find a positive. Let's see. On the phone lines, we don't have our call screener tonight, so work with me and let me know who you are. I'm now going to go to a phone number. This is how we do this. If you're an 843 area code, if you are an 843 area code, let me know who you are and where you're from. Welcome to the program, 843. Who are we talking to?
Hey, this is Rick in Memphis, Tom and Gene. How y'all doing?
Rick in Memphis. Welcome to the program, man.
Hey, I'm class of 2004, so my baseline of fandom is the 80s and 90s of blowing out ACC teams and not really having to watch past halftime after those games. It took me 18 years to get my wife to start watching Florida State games, and this is what we're watching. The Mike Norvell. So I just got a few notes here, and then you can have comments. Some guys have already talked about it. First, I know the first game of the season you guys talked about, or maybe it was on Jeff's show about the grass, but it seems like everybody is slipping and falling on this new grass. Second, Tommy, somebody mentioned it already, Tommy can't hit an open receiver. And finally, after, I don't know, 9 games into the season, we finally let an All-American kick returner start returning kicks. So I appreciate whatever, I know Tom's always hitting on that for punt returns, but the kicks, we finally let that culture start going and let's start getting some yards downfield. Tom, I hope you're feeling better from your accident today.
Hey, thank you for calling that out.
Yeah, thank you.
And my MVP for the season, I like Randy Pittman, man. I noticed that off the Alabama game, I felt like he was more of a quarterback out there than Tommy was, or getting the formation set and everything. He went out, and I like him a whole heck of a lot.
Yep.
But
yeah, we appreciate
the
you.
Game, go Noles, man! I got my kids here, so I got my son. He just stayed up all night. He wants to say one thing. Let's go. What do you got to say?
Go Noles!
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Man, appreciate what you do. I hope you guys are feeling better, and thanks for everything you guys do.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, and thank you to your family, Noles in Memphis. Thank you very much for making the time for us tonight.
And Tom, I'm glad he brought that up, and we're so glad. I mean, it's scary. You got T-boned or whatever happened, or you got in an accident. We're so glad you're okay and got through that. So that can be scary.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it reminded me. I played a little bit of hockey as a kid, like a really big physical game. That's what it feels like today. It's on the left side, but yes, very lucky, very fortunate. And I was also not in the wrong. So we'll see where that goes from there.
Even better.
Lee Moss says, Tom, you're so negative. I'm just spitting facts, man. This ain't good enough. And if it is for you, then you've got a different standard than I do. I appreciate it.
He did mention, again, a shout out to Jalen Lucas on those returns. The best thing, their weakest at punt returns, Virginia Tech, they never punted, right?
Correct. Yes.
So there you go. That's the best way. Don't let the other team punt. You don't have to worry about a punt return. The kick return game, pretty solid, though, like what I'm seeing.
I felt like Jalen on that second one especially just decided, I'm going. I don't care. I'm going. And it ended up working because I think it was Wes who said, no, yes, that's what it felt. I'm like, what are you doing? Here's 1st and 10 from the 19. But good on you, Jalen. If they're not going to give you the ball during the season and your eligibility's almost up, go ahead. Have some fun. Have some fun. Let's see. 904 Noel has an interesting question that I want to talk about in just a moment. He says, would y'all rather Mike get fired or take a huge pay cut and use that money towards NIL? We're going to discuss that in 90 seconds here on the
That's
Warchant
called a
Game Day.
teaser.
It is, and it's built by TSpark Enterprises. We'll be back in 90 seconds on Warchant TV.
It rains 130 days a year in Tallahassee, which is 1.7 million gallons of water coming down, plus 500 pounds of leaves piling up on your roof, and maybe a tree branch or two. We spend 23.5 hours a day thinking about roofs. We've driven 60,000 miles in a year serving our customers. We've climbed 2,000 ladders to install over 100,000 shingles. You've got one roof. Let TSpark worry about the rest.
Maybe TSpark knows a grass guy. That was another good point made by Rick. I believe the way that Ira had reported how Florida State is approaching this now is it was a lay-and-play field that was set just weeks before the Alabama game. It was around somewhere between 300 and 500K, I think, to do. And they were just thinking about doing that, Gene, year over year instead of maintaining the grass for 12 months. I wonder if that's going to continue to be the plan. But that field was a bit of a problem against Wake, too, but it was a major, major problem. Like, in terms of divots, there were a ton of divots against Wake Forest a couple weeks ago. Tonight, it was dudes slipping all over the place. I mean, first couple drives that before. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, here we go. First couple of drives.
I was going to say it hasn't rained in Tallahassee in like 2 weeks. Anybody who hasn't been in Tallahassee, we go, well, it looks like it just rained all day and it's just wet and guys are slipping. No, that is definitely not the case. So go ahead.
It was 4 or 5 slippages in the first couple of drives before the guys started getting used to it. And still, you saw it from time to time. So we teased it. 904 Noles says, would you all rather Mike get fired or take a huge pay cut and use that money in NIL? Gene, the floor is yours. Which
sure. Throw it to me. This is a tough one. Look, in a vacuum without money being a concern, sure, I think you're better off making a change. But this is, there's a lot of nuance to this, really. I mean, fire him, great. How are you going to pay the bill? Who are you going to hire to bring? Do you have a guy you're confident is going to bring in? Is going to turn things around and do all that? And then how much is he cutting? Is he cutting, $6 million a year off his salary? And that's going to go straight into NIL. I mean, that matters to me too. If he's cutting a couple million, no. I would say, in a vacuum, I would still move on and get a new head coach in here and a new coaching staff. I think they need to change in what we've seen, but I can be bought. I mean, if he's going to give up most of his salary and turn it right into NIL, especially if he wins these next 2 games, I might be persuaded.
If he takes a life debt oath that he's going to recruit better, and that money will be used for high school recruiting, then maybe. But here's the deal: in the last 2 seasons, now there's a couple of ACC games to be played for some of these teams. Florida State's now 2-5 in the ACC this year. That means that if they finish where they are, the only teams that finished behind Florida State in the last 2 seasons of ACC football, nobody in 2024 did. It would be this year's Syracuse Orange at 1-6, and this year's Boston College Eagles, who blew it against Georgia Tech today, at 0-7. So in 2 years, you will have finished ahead of exactly 2 teams in a 17-team ACC league. Fired is what I'd rather have. That's 904. Thank you for the question, though. We appreciate it. Ian says, too many being complicit with this mess. Thank you very much for the contribution, Ian. I'm not going to make a judgment on other people's opinions necessarily, but I know what I want, and I think Gene is probably in that same camp as well. Now we go back to the 850. Okay, so we got a few 850s You called us on November the 1st. If your number starts with 491, who we got here? 850-491. Who we talking to on the Warchant Game Day Postgame Call-In Show?
Tom G, what's going on?
Oh, it's Eric. It's Eric Angel. What's up, Eric? How you doing?
Hey, man, fantastic. Hey, the crowd was phenomenal. The atmosphere and all that dope tonight.
Great.
And it was cool to see Ethan Pritchard and his family. That was real neat. I mean, sure, there were some tears too going, but it was cool to see him. And actually, his dad posted something on ESPN that's saying Ethan's going to try to make a return next fall. So hopefully all goes well and he can return and play again for our Seminoles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
But Tommy Castellanos, man, that guy, I mean, I like him, but, man, he's got to settle down, man. I mean, it sounds like he's got happy feet out there because he can't hit a broadside of barn. I mean, the only guy he really had target to was Deuce. And other than that, I mean, man, he just got to settle down and just throw the ball instead of slinging it.
Agreed. Yeah, thank you, Eric. Appreciate the call. Yeah,
Thanks,
well,
Eric.
again, whatever Ethan does is a gift every day, and hopefully it continues. He's made it farther than, I mean, Gene, I remember that night that the news was breaking and hearing reports and whispers and rumors that were unfounded, and they were the worst. And so to be sitting,
he was fighting for his life a few weeks ago, and here he is. I mean, it's incredible. It's really inspirational. I'm wondering if that may have really gotten these guys. I mean, senior night, you had enough other to play for. Just seeing him being there with the team was something special. Whether he comes back or not, it's been an incredible comeback. But in going back to what also Eric said about Tommy, I mean, what he said, he slings it. I mean, that's kind of what he does out there. And I get the frustration, but you said it very aptly earlier. This is what you get with Tommy Castellanos. So when he's healthy, he can run around and make defenses look like fools and make big plays, but you're just rolling the dice when he throws that ball out there. You never know what's going to happen.
I wonder if he finally trusts that lower leg injury, that ankle injury is what we're all assuming it is.
Tonight.
It was after. So if you want to rewatch a Florida State victory, you will see in the third quarter of this ball game, after Florida State gets off the field, they force the fumble. It's a 3rd and 5. They call the all-out blitz. You have, was it Mandrell or Darrell? The entity.
I thought it was Mandrell, but the entity got him.
I think it was it was Mandrell. Nicholson recovers the fumble. Florida State has a play with Usmain, and then I think one more with Usmain. It's a 2nd down play. Tommy shot out of a cannon on that play, and he looks like it was game 1, Tommy. That could really bode well for Florida State the next couple of weeks, because then he did it again near the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be very nice to see a Tommy that believes in himself moving forward.
Because that linebacker at that goal line, Tommy, 2 weeks ago, he tackles him there. I think that was a linebacker, was a safety or something that was right there, right in front of him. He just goes down. He gets down about the 2-3 yard line. It wasn't even, that guy had no chance to tackle him tonight.
We now go to, let's see, is this correct? I have it in show notes from a previous call. Is this Priest in St. Pete? Am I correct there? 850, go ahead.
Tom, Gene, it's Priest from
Hey, it is.
How y'all doing?
Doing well, Priest. Thank you, man. What's going on?
Oh man, we are living in a blessed day. Tom, you survived your accident. Ethan's back with us at Florida State, and we won our football game. We all got, praise the Lord, we got that going for us. My quick question for you guys is, when do you think we'll start hearing about players possibly going to the draft or transfer portal? And do you guys want these? How many of these guys do y'all want coming back for next year? Once again, we gotta win. Go Noles. God bless everybody.
Thank you very much, Priest. Thank you for the well wishes.
Priest.
The more you lose, the more you hear about guys opting out or asking for a red shirt or saying that I just want to be away from the program and I intend to enter the portal, but they can't obviously do that until the portal opens or there is a new head coach that's hired. I would imagine, because Florida State did win tonight, the soonest you could start hearing that, Gene, would probably be after the NC State game if it doesn't go your way. But I think you're pretty well secure for the next week and a half on that front about departures. And then for the NFL stuff, that happens in December. I mean, that's squarely going to be a December thing, where if it's Deuce Robinson, for example, that says he's going pro, which I would imagine is going to absolutely be the case, they will make a big to-do about that at Florida State in terms of press releases and graphics and all that kind of stuff. So I would say you can start to expect that as soon as next week, but we're probably looking at December for most of it.
Right. And we just don't know in terms of the I think the bigger question is who's going to be opting out, going in the portal. And we may in the next couple of weeks start to hear more and more stuff. Obviously, if guys are still out there playing, we don't know what's going to happen with the next head coach. We don't have with Norvell. So much is still up in the air. You can't say, oh, this guy is coming back or he's not, because we just don't know at this stage. I mean, their NIL deals could change. Other teams could come in. You know, apparently there's no tampering, but we all know there is. So at any moment, someone could come in and drop bags on the Desir twins or something. We don't know if that's going to happen or not. So that's why December and January are going to be crazy around here, whether it's coaching search or it's portal action. It's going to be nuts.
Well, and this is where it could be a news story without the portal officially being open to players. It's intent to enter the portal. You know, those kinds of reports.
Oh, yeah, we're starting to hear more and more of that. Yeah.
And we're hearing even from the on the recruiting side, Director Nick behind the scenes is part of the Warpath that's here on Warchant TV on Fridays. But there is an expectation in the recruiting community that given all of these coaching changes are on the horizon and new coaches being named to different destinations, that you've got decommit season coming in the next 3 weeks. A lot of decommitments ahead, and not necessarily flips, like straight, I need to look at my options, decommitment situations coming for a lot of schools throughout the Southeast. So there's going to be a lot of roster movement to come, which is a great reason for you to head over to warchant.com right now. Sign up for just $1. And we've got a special for you active subscribers that we're going to tell you in a little bit. Hang tight. Active subscribers will always say, hey, what about us? Always the new people. We have a great offer for you that if you are a subscriber at warchant.com, we want to tell you about momentarily. Let's go back to the phone lines. You are in the 850, and your phone number starts with 209. 850-209. You are on. You are with Gene Williams. I'm Tom. Go ahead, sir or ma'am. Who are you?
Not a ma'am, even in 2025.
There you go.
Anyway, this is Ray from Cottondale, Florida.
All right, Ray. Welcome to the program. What you got, sir?
Anyway, the answer to the question, just my opinion, is I more tend to agree with Gene. If the buyout situation was different, well, it's a no-brainer. He's in his sixth year. You pretty much know what you have with Mike Norvell. There is no surprises. You've got what you've got. But we've got ourselves into a quandary because of the situation. The administration was under the impression that Mike Norvell was somehow going to Alabama, which I don't no more believe that than anything. That's a Jimmy Sexton move. So I was not in favor of giving him the big money and the big extension. But, you have to go with, hey, you didn't really know for sure. You just had a feeling. But now, Tom, if it was me, I'm with you, buddy. He's got to go. I mean, this win tonight absolutely proves nothing. Virginia Tech is a terrible team. They're just playing out the string for an interim coach. And as far as transfer portal, there's probably only 10 players on the entire team I would absolutely not want to lose. So you can take that however you want to take it. You guys have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, there's definitely some keepers. I like how Josh phrased it earlier, and I think we all know who those players are. But you don't want to flip your roster from head to toe unless you've got real solutions ready to walk through the door, and that would be one of those questions I would imagine in the hiring process. If you have a new head coach coming in, who are you bringing in immediately to make a difference?
Right.
It's not just about coordinators anymore and assistant coaches, Gene. In this day and age of the portal, it's what players can you and make a difference.
Well, that's and I said so. A lot of people on our. We'll get to this in a little bit in the Renegade room. I know you're going to mention this a little bit when we're talking about our upgrade special coming. But someone had talked about that, really trying to, pin me down which coach. And I said, regardless of which type of coach you think FSU may be looking for, the thing that I've heard the most is they need to have a plan. And to your point, Tom, that is, who are going to be my coordinators? How am I going to handle roster management? what players can I bring in with me immediately? How am I gonna get recruits? How am I gonna turn that around? Let's face it, I think we can all agree Mike Norvell's biggest weakness is recruiting. High school recruiting has been horrific. I've seen you guys have talked about a lot of them. There are 2 guys that have made the NFL, been drafted out of all his recruiting classes. It's just ridiculous. They need to have a solid plan. Personnel, coaching, roster management, administration, everything needs to be laid out by whoever comes in. So that, to me, that is the thing right there they need to look for.
If you're wondering, I saw in the chat where Cottondale, Florida is. It is real. It's not a fictional place that he's just trying to cover his tracks. It's east of Chipley and west of Mariana. It ain't very big, but that's where our last caller was from, and we appreciate the phone call. It was a good one. Good conversation starter. We now go to Nebraska because we are worldwide and U.S.-wide on Warchant TV. It's Dave in Nebraska. Welcome back to the program, Dave, and go ahead, sir.
Gentlemen, how are we doing? So we had a good win tonight. That's what we need to celebrate, right? So again, like last week, everybody wants fucking the fire. Everybody wants Mike to go. Here's the deal. Has anybody watched any of the ACC games in the last 2 weeks? There's not a good team in the ACC. There's not. And Florida State is not that far away. There's a couple things holding us back. Discipline, which is a coaching thing. Big thing is quarterback play. You need to just go out, find yourself a decent quarterback. I'm going to give you a name right now. Drew Messmaker, North Texas, freshman. Look at his stats for this year. Go give him all the money he wants. Hey, if he needs $500,000, give him $500,000. The other thing you need to do, you need to go get a new defense coordinator. This team is not that far off. The powers to be, everybody that says Georgia Tech's good, Miami's good, Pittsburgh's good, they're not that good. Florida State is not that far away from being a goddamn good team. I'm sorry for cursing, but you got to let them give them a chance. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Dave.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Well, Eric Angel behaved himself, and Dave from Nebraska just put it over the top there. Thank you, Dave. That was a very impassioned call, buddy.
Yeah, I could argue that he's had 6 years of chances, and he's, you know what, he's come out on the Smell Like Roses a couple of times, Dave. And you could also argue, now, Gene, I want to hear your take on this, but one could also argue if the ACC is not good, as you posit, and Florida State is still near the bottom, then are they really that close to any of their goals because they can't take advantage of a down ACC? Are they really that? They might be close to the upper half of the ACC, but are you close to your goals if you think the conference is crap and Florida State's ahead of 2 other teams in this league? I mean, that would be my counter to that. What say you, Gene, on where Florida State is relative closeness, like that idea of Florida State being close?
Well, Dave makes a good point. The ACC is just, I don't know if it's all bad. I think it's just all average to slightly above average, and you've got a lot of teams have a lot of weird weaknesses. I mean, the fact that the worst team in the ACC, arguably BC, really should have knocked off Georgia Tech, who's supposedly the best team in the ACC right now. So I get Dave's point on this whole thing. I mean, yeah, Florida State's got a lot of weaknesses. I don't think they're that. Look, Virginia game, Pitt, Stanford, there's some weird things that happened. They could have won 1 or 2 or all 3 of those games. One play goes one different way. So, I mean, I get his point on that too, but I don't know. But it's still not – this is still a team with a lot of flaws. And he said defensive coordinator, a quarterback, yeah, maybe Sperry's the next guy. How about getting some linebackers who can actually play, Tom? I mean, you're the guy who looks in the trenches and like that. To me, that is that's been the biggest weakness we talked about. Remember the Virginia game, all the crossing routes, what they couldn't cover. How many times they take bad angles? There was horrible tackling tonight. Yeah. I mean, to me, that is the area that really needs to be fixed up on this team.
It's a huge area. There's a lot. I mean, this offseason, there needs to be another overhaul to the roster, which is just like, again. And sometimes I get a little frustrated because the idea is like, well, they need to get a better quarterback. Well, it's not like Mike just took the job this year and he was stuck with who they had on the roster.
Yeah, who has he recruited that's ever played quarterback? None.
This has been his choice.
None.
He chose, if you think Tommy's limited, well, he chose him, damn it. And he chose DJU the year before. So, like, who are you really mad at here? You could say that was Gus's choice, but Mike empowers Gus, who makes the choice. I mean, it's been under Mike's control here, this entire situation. And that's where I hope it's under somebody else's control here soon. We go to Ocala, not to one of our sages in Ocala, but to Jim in Ocala, who is calling for the 4th time. We haven't talked to Jim since last year, according to my notes. Jim, welcome to the program. Go ahead.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Happy to be talking to you, Jim.
Pretty
Go
good,
ahead.
Tom,
Jim.
I'm glad to hear that you're doing well from your accident. So that's obviously unfortunate, but I'm glad everything's well. And
thank you.
So I was listening to I don't know if it was the Smash. I don't know. It was one of the shows, but I heard Ira make mention. He said that just because you don't see something going on doesn't mean that there isn't something going on. And I thought, oh, okay, well, past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior. And I'm looking at this administration, and I have a really hard time believing that they're working on some quietly, working on some super secret plan while every other school looking for a coach is doing this publicly and out in the open. I've got a hard time believing that the movers and shakers are making something happen behind the scenes. And then and Corey on Wake Up Warchant on Friday was directly asked a question, and it was, does Florida State have the money to be able to buy out Norvell and then replace the staff and be competitive in the NIL market? And he really did a great job in dancing around that question without actually coming right out and answering it. So I'm going to ask you guys, does Florida State actually have the money, $90 to $100 million, as it's estimated, to buy out Mike and his staff, replace the staff with someone that's not going to be a Norvell 2.0, and also be competitive in the NIL market?
That's a great call, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
That Norvell 2.0 thing, that's subjective. We don't know how it's going to turn out at the time of the hire. So that, and also on go ahead, Gene. Go ahead.
No, he does, and I've talked about it with a lot of people too. When you talk about Norvell 2.0, are you talking another up and coming group of 5 type coach?
Okay.
Not that he couldn't be successful. Obviously you're not going to hire somebody you think's going to follow the same path, but are you going to be able? My take on that was you can be able to shell out enough money to hire a guy that has major Power 4 experience at a high level, dealing with roster management, NIL portal, all those kind of things, where I think that's the thing that's the problem you have when you go for those guys who may be great coaches, but they've not dealt with what you have to deal with these days to coach a major Power 4 program, because it's a completely different ballgame. It's like going from college to the NFL. It's a different sport in terms of running it from a coaching perspective. So that's what I was saying from Jim, that you're going to have to spend a lot of money to go out and get a Lane Kiffin, to get a James Franklin or someone like that who really understands the process and everything works.
Yeah, I mean, and I think they got the money. I think they do. I don't know that for a fact. I don't look at their finances. They would be pissed to spend it, and I'm sure they're furious that they might have to spend it after all they dumped into this second go of it with Mike Norvell with these new coordinators, because they had to buy people out last year in order to facilitate Tony White and Gus Malzahn and their assistants coming to town. But, Gene, they've got the money if they want to do it, I believe. And I don't know that it's 90 to 100 million. I know that that's some of the estimations. It might be a little bit less. But, I mean, plain and simple, we're in agreement here that if they want to make the move, they have the money to make the move.
I will put it this way. If they want it bad enough, they can. They're going to have to twist some arm, probably some donors to really chip in, and a lot of heavy hitters. But it's just, how bad do you want it? Do you want to go out? The issue is still going to be, we're still, unfortunately, that era with Jimmy Sexton running things, these ridiculous contracts that should be going away because the money should be shifting to personnel rather than these ridiculous coaching contracts. But right now, it's both. Sexton is still going to want his 10 pounds of flesh every time you make a deal with one of his clients, and that's going to be the issue right now. Do you even want to spend that kind of money? We're going to sign a long-term deal, Tom, when you're going to be on the hook for another huge humongous $50 to $80 million buyout if this guy sucks in a couple of years.
Right.
That's the issue. I mean, that to me, more than not having the money, that's the issue. Do you want to do that? Do you want to dance with that devil again? I'm tired of it.
Well, yes, that's where I say that even though the name matters of who they hire, it's always going to be about fit. Be it if it was Lane, which it won't, which it's not going to be. I'm not saying that, but if it was a giant name, or if it was a who the hell is John Smith? I don't even know who the hell that guy is. Like, or anybody in between, it's always going to be about the fit. But I'm looking at the economics of the situation, Gene. I want to see how much they actually pay in the coach and what's the buyout structure. I feel like, in a way, to your point, that's more important than the hire itself. Is Florida State at risk of being hamstrung until 2032 with this next hire if it doesn't go right? Or if it doesn't go well in 2 or 3 years, does Florida State have financial flexibility to make that next?
That's what they need to fight for that. I know everyone wants their cake and want to eat it too. They want to get the Lane Kiffin, like, again, hypothetically, but they don't want to give him a humongous contract, which unfortunately Sexton has everybody by the cojones right now. He's not going to let a guy like that or a Franklin sign with someone without getting that kind of deal, because he profits on his end. And he's done that all the time, and schools have always bent over and given it to him. So they're going to do it again.
And then once it all happens, you got to make the money move around to benefit Florida State the best it possibly can. Why do I say that? Well, that's what we do at warchant.com for you, as we've got an early Black Friday deal. And I'm going to share it from the message boards here. This is what it looks like at warchant.com. And you see there's Gene's profile picture right there. It's .com. And we've got early Black Friday savings for you. If you are an active subscriber and you want to upgrade to the ad-free tier at warchant.com, you will receive $50 in Garnet and Gold gift cards. How about that? You're going to come out ahead on this deal in terms of what we bring back to you. $50 in Garnet and Gold gift cards. And that is in addition to, I might add, a bonus discount if you become an ad-free top-level member of warchant.com. So if you're already a subscriber and you want to upgrade, you will have the benefits of, and I'll let Gene enumerate some of these, but the benefits of an ad-free tier. But then you'll also go from a 10% standing discount at Garnet and Gold to a 15% discount at Garnet and Gold for all purchases while your membership is active. So you're getting savings right back immediately, in addition to $50 in Garnet and Gold gift cards to get you started for the holiday season. So that is active right now. And Gene, there are more benefits than just the ones I've listed out, but it's a good time if you're a subscriber, an active subscriber to Warchant, to get that going and get your benefit right now.
Yeah, one of the cool benefits is obviously not getting the ads, which suck. I hate ads. We have a Renegade Room, a special message board just for upgraded members, where Ira and I just did an AMA talking a lot of this stuff that people have been asking us have been already asked, and we've discussed it and given inside hints and details that we know about the coaching situation in the Renegade Room. So we just did that this past week. So you'll get access to that. I know a lot of cool features. We do video features right here on Warchant TV. Hopefully you subscribe. Like Tom does a lot of features with Dominic Robinson on X's and O's and uses his expertise to break down film using the All 22. And you get early access often on those videos, members of that, and also members of our YouTube subscriber community. So a lot of cool features like that you get. And, we get, like I said, a lot of AMAs, a lot of cool stuff in the Renegade Room as well, plus that 15% discount at Garnet Gold. But it only is really an annual, it's only a $30 increase in your subscription. You're getting $50 in Garnet Gold. And if you don't want it, last I heard, Tom, holiday season's coming up. There's certainly somebody in your life who would love some swag from Garnet Gold. So
exactly.
Use that $50 towards that.
Yeah, you can just give them the gift codes if you want to do it that way, because you're going to give yourself a gift, you give somebody else a gift, and you're going to make a couple of bucks in terms of the difference on that side of it. So head over to the Tribal Council right now. There's a pinned post if you're an active subscriber to warchant.com to see the details from our own Gene Williams. And thank you, Director Nick, for putting that up on the screen. All right, we've got time for two more callers. We're going to get to them in just a moment. If you're in the 386, you've been waiting for nearly a half an hour, we're going to get to you. And if you're in the 850, that's Ryan and Santa Rosa Beach. You two are safe. I'm sorry I can't speak to the other folks that are waiting, but our call screener is on a cruise with a drink package, enjoying life. So those two callers make the cut. Everybody else, I'm so very sorry. Perhaps we can speak to you next time. We'll be back in 2 minutes with some more thoughts, your phone calls right here on the Warchant Game Day Postgame Call-In Show, built by TSpark Enterprises.
business is built through passion, perseverance, and an unyielding commitment to one's trade. It starts with dedication and the relentless pursuit of perfection. The early mornings, the late evenings, the sacrifices made, all for that one moment of knocking it out of the park. On every job we do, TSpark, we conquer all peaks.
Available after we close these proceedings tonight on Warchant TV are the press conferences. It looks like they went in duos tonight. Tommy Castellanos, Deuce Robinson spoke together. They have quite the connection, don't they? Randy Pittman, Earl Little spoke together, and then Mike Norvell. You can expect the Warchant wrap to be up. It's almost midnight, so I would say probably in the next hour and a half, the Warchant wrap will be available for you on Warchant TV. So that's what's coming up on the channel. What's coming up right now on this show is caller waiting 29 minutes from the 386. Identify yourself and be praised. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Jay from Atlanta. Super stoked we got a win tonight. That's super great. I got two hot takes. First hot take, I would not be shocked if we keep Norvell another year. I think there's a lot of one-score competitive losses against good teams. I think ultimately he goes, but I don't know. It's a really competitive coaching market. Hot take number two, I don't know why, but whenever someone talks about Jimbo coming back, it puts a smile on my face. Everyone else gets real salty and real angry. It's not my number one choice, but I don't understand the hate. I guess I'll just say that. But those were my two takes, and glad for a win.
Well, we
Thank
appreciate
you, Jay.
it.
Well, that's I think one of the salty ones is sitting to my right next to me right now. So, Tom, you want to let the salt fly?
Y'all have heard my thoughts on it. I don't understand why more people aren't salty, but that's okay. You know, we're so afraid of honest disagreement these days because everybody gets all up in their feelings. Like, I can understand if you want to harken back to the good old days with Jimbo and you think he's learned his lesson and he's contrite and there's redemption. Okay, fair enough. And if he comes here for $50 or $2 million or whatever it is, $3 million, sure. I mean, I understand why you think that would be an appealing option. But, yeah, to me, I don't think he's learned his lesson. I think he's out of options, and so therefore he's desperate. I think that's why he would want to come to Florida State. I don't know. Gene, have you wavered at all in your opinion? Has it evolved at all over the last month or 6 weeks?
I'm getting a little bit more open to it, but again, he would have to come in with the absolute best contract imaginable. Like it's like a 2-year experiment with literally no buyout. He's out, doesn't work. He'd have to have an unbelievable plan. He'd have to have some good assistants coming in. Who are you bringing in? Like we just talked about, he'd have to have the perfect plan. And it'd also be like if I'm in Alford's spot, I'm looking around. There's no other viable option. It isn't going to cost us that deal. We're going to have to lock into someone until 2040. You know, this humongous deal. If that's the only thing I can get a viable coach, and I give it a 2-year trial basis. I get it. But I understand the other side. I understand your side and everyone else's side. I was there in 2017. I saw what happened that season. I saw him basically give up on the team and pack it in, stop recruiting, make some comments about Florida State that I just were not called for down the stretch. And I got into arguments with him about saying we're going for clickbait by saying he might be going to Texas A&M. And I mean, really, when you already know you're going to do that. I don't know. Maybe he's learned, maybe he hasn't, but he might be the best of a lot of bad choices. I mean, we could be in that position a few weeks from now.
Yeah, he's in a relationship with Florida State for years, and it seems like it's going really well for both parties. And he has a little bit of a flirtation with Texas, and then he has flirtations with LSU, and then A&M. And now he's back at the door, and he's saying, please take me back. And I'm like, no, I've got self-respect. I'm not taking you back. I value myself, and that's what Florida State, I think, should say. But if you're going to pay the rent and the bills and hold the mortgage payments,
that's what I'm saying. There's not another good choice, and he's willing to basically come in for free. I mean, it's either that or do you want to go with Mike Norvell for another year? I mean, that may ultimately be what it comes down to. I'm not saying it will, but it could.
Why does it have to be those two choices? Is that our lot in life? Like, God, dog. We go to our final caller of the evening, Ryan in Santa Rosa Beach. It was great to meet you today at Hotel Indigo. A lot of folks stopped by there today, a lot of Warchant regulars. Ryan, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yes, sir. I had no intentions actually of talking about coaches, but after that last call, I think I have to. So here's my thing with Jimbo, and I no intention of talking about this. So when it came to LSU, it would have been derelict of his duties to not entertain that. So for 2 years, yes, of course he entertained that because Jimmy Sexton would have, of course, leveraged us against it. So why are we holding that against him? I don't understand that. I would never hold that against him you know what I'm saying? For using that as leverage to make more money. But beyond that, forget it. My point of calling was we had a blast tonight. The game was amazing. The fans were great. We won. The Noles, they looked good. Beyond everything else, let's just beat UF. That's the only thing that matters.
Yes.
Piss on the Gators and let's just effing beat the Gators. So I'm doing my best to be well behaved and just put it there, man. Makes sense, I think, what I said.
Oh, it does. Absolutely, Ryan. We appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Ryan. Yeah, beat the Gators. That would definitely put something on this. It hasn't been a great season, but that would be a nice way to end it.
Let's do that, and then let's go to the Pinstripe Bowl. I got enough miles. Let's go.
I know what you're a little motivated there to go to that one, huh, Tom?
There's something about that city I always like. Even though I'm much happier day to day here in Tally, that I do like a good vacation up to Manhattan. Yeah. That's what would be in front of Florida State. One win in their final two roadies, and Florida State would be bowl eligible. How about that? Also would be their first road win since they beat Florida when Trey Benson iced it 2 years ago.
Great memories.
Probably about, what would that be, 680, 690 days ago. Let's see. Another word from our sponsor, TSpark Enterprises, who's been fantastic for us all season long. Always great when we can bring a win home for TSpark because they've had some tough times on this post-game show. They've got a new service. If you've got an outdated bath or shower, whether it's in your home or in your business, TSpark delivers fast, pro-level bath and shower remodels. And it could be in as little as 1 day. No fumbles, just top quality work and a clean finish. Are you ready for a game-changing refresh? Head to tsparkconstruction.com. TSpark Construction, we conquer all peaks. Final thoughts tonight. Oh, we have a contribution from a 7-month member, Noel Sage. Thank you very much for being a member of the channel for 7 months. Who says, looks like Jeff came in the clutch with the drugs, Tom. Glad to see you're up and about. Please somebody teach Tommy that not every pass needs to be a laser. Yeah, in video game nomenclature, he's just pressing and holding the button down, I think, very often. Noel Sage, thank you for the contribution. Just Advil and a couple of cocktails have helped me, but appreciate that. And thank you for being a member for 7 months. Coming up on warchant.com, we have a column. Let's see if it's live already. Our own Corey Clark always pens a column with closing thoughts from the game. Not quite live yet. It will be on the channel, on the website very, very soon. We've got post-game coverage, the Warchant wrap, all coming your way on warchant.com and on the Warchant YouTube channel, Warchant TV. And Gene Williams with a PFF snap count tracker for tomorrow. I would imagine one player who didn't participate again would be one Juju Wynn, Kevin Wynn. There's another guy I'd like to keep, Gene, but as I see, he's got 4 games of participation. I would imagine, unless Florida State makes a bowl, And maybe not even then, that Juju Wynn, 55, even though he was in a helmet and shoulder pads tonight, probably didn't participate in this football game.
No, I didn't see him out there. That's a little bit unfortunate. And some other guys, and this could be some, he's one of those ones, like you said, you want to hold on to, but could this be a guy that comes in and then goes out and we never really get to see him play? That would be sad, but so much to happen here. But no, I will definitely have the snap counts for our subscribers on the Tribal Council tomorrow, which is always good to see, especially those running backs, Tom. I mean, I don't think I've seen a split like this ever, with 5 guys getting reps. I mean, that's just crazy. And I guess the one that didn't is, and I don't know if he's hurt. Was he on the injury report, Cam Davis, or is he one of those pre-portal guys?
I don't know what's going on there, because he was an injury designation for a long, long time, and he was, questionable, probable. It was his graduating up the ranks. I don't think he carried a designation today.
So my feeling is he's one of those guys that are pre-portal, that he's probably gone, would be my guess, with all these running backs.
Probably, yeah. Well, I mean, and it's such a crowded backfield. Who knew that Sam Singleton was going to emerge this year?
Oh, that's awesome. Of all the guys, if you were to say one guy you'd like to see emerge, I mean, that's fantastic for him. I'm happy for him.
And here's my sentimental stat of the night: 1 carry, 8 yards. Keziah Holmes, ride or die.
I saw that. I was thinking of you, Tom, when he got that carry.
You know what? I think his YPC this year is pretty healthy.
Okay. Thank you. I didn't see that. I guess we were prepared. We were doing the show in the last. Here, so that means with 6 running backs got carries in this game.
This is why we have a director to check us when we
Thank you, Nick.
When we have erroneous details. We want accuracy here on the post-game show. Thank you, Director Nick, for the save there. And you are correct. 2 carries, 8 yards. He had a 7-yard run amongst those 2 carries. So I think that's it. That's all. Are we going to sign off just ahead of Sunday morning, November the 16th here on Warchant TV? Anything else you'd like to promote, Gene, before we say goodnight for the evening?
No, just it's going to get, we got 2 more games left. I think this is it was a really nice win for Florida State. Let's face it, the fan base needed it. It was senior night. Great to see Ethan out there and everything that meant, and the inspiration around him in this game. And with you, Tom, recovering from your accident, happy you're here full speed. Looks like you hadn't missed a beat. So proud of you. Thank you, Nick, behind the scenes, taking care of everything tonight, and all the great fans that came out and joined us. It was a lot of fun calling in. Everyone on chat. We wish you get all you guys. I know there's a lot of people making comments, and we'd like to get to all of you, but we're just so damn popular, Tom. It's hard to get to everybody.
You built yourself a little empire here, Gene. And this is, for home games, there's always that last day of school feeling, because everybody is at their apex in terms of their responsibilities for home games. So shout out. Thank you, Gene, for building an excellent, excellent multimedia company. And to everybody on staff. I mean, Aslan does a hell of a lot of work on a day like today for a home game between pressers and the Warchant wrap. And obviously, exactly what Ira and Corey do, because you read their work and you hear their words. But it's a big-time operation on that side of the thing. Matt Lasser, awesome at what
we got updates on the recruiting board, all the recruits that came on campus. So, yeah, I mean, that's another thing, a membership benefit you get.
You'll have that from Michael Langston as well, who does a great job from the recruiting standpoint. And then obviously we had the pregame show this morning with Jeff and I, and then the meet and greet with Jeff, and what Director Nick is doing behind the scenes. There's just a lot of people doing a lot of different things. And for home games, everybody's they're in octopus mode. They're pulling levers, pushing buttons, and they're all very, very good at what they do. So thank you for supporting us, because without you, there is no us at Warchant and Warchant TV. So thank you so much for your support. I'll see if I can twist the sponsor's arm next week. Gene, would you be fired up for a watch along versus a post game?
Oh, really? I don't know. Take a vote on that. I think we could do that. A little Friday night watch along.
I feel like it could be pretty fun for a roadie at NC State. A lot of stories, a lot of images that we can share from yesteryear. We'll see if TSpark's on board with it. If not, we can always sign on right after the game.
Can we just go live from the Wiz Palace?
You want to get we can take the caravan up there. Everybody wear your ponchos. Make sure that they're clear, not yellow ponchos, so we can tell the difference of who got hit and who didn't.
Yeah, I think I could be persuaded for a little live. Let's see if they go for it. What do people think in the chat real quick? What do you think? Should we go do a watch along versus a post game show next week?
Oh, even a contribution from Kyle, who says watch along confirmed.
Oh, all right. Confirmed.
We'll see about that, Kyle. That's like some message board stuff where I have it confirmed. It's Bob.
It's out on social media right now. It's confirmed.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, thank you.
They seem to like watch along, Tom. So I don't know. We might lean in that way, but again, we'll have to check with the sponsorships. Also, they have to be on board with this stuff. Unfortunately, we don't. They pay a lot of money. We appreciate TSpark and everybody else. So got to give them their say here.
We shall see what comes of it. We'll promote the hell out of it one way or the other. But thank you so much for everybody, your support in the chat. If it's monetary, that's wonderful, and we appreciate it. But just advancing the discussion. I know it was spirited in there tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Hope you all enjoyed your senior night. And we've got just under 30 seconds before we hit midnight. So we're going to sign off with a moment of zen, if you will. This is our last parting gift, which is once more Ethan Pritchard arriving at Doak Campbell Stadium before we sign off for the night. For Director Nick and Gene, I'm Tom. Thank you all. We'll talk to you next time right here on Warchant TV.
What's up, man?